Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so we're about to proceed now. Sorry for the little delay. So tonight we have our speaker from we'll be talking about the Erasmus Mundus scholarship. So our speaker, Ahmed Suleiman, is a joint PhD student in biomedical engineering at Georgia Institute of Technology, USA, specializing in medical imaging and AI. His academic journey began with a bachelor's degree in biomedical engineering from Nigeria, followed by a joint master's degree in medical imaging and application through the prestigious Erasmus scholarship in Europe. In the past 2 years, he has won over 6 fully funded scholarships and has guided numerous individuals through the scholarship application process. Taking pride in seeing his mentees excel with many securing fully funded scholarship worldwide is part of his dream. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our speaker for tonight, Mr. Ahmed Suleiman. You have the floor, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
Sir, you have the floor now.
Oh yeah, sorry, I don't know that I was muted. So hi everyone. Thank you so much, okay. Hope you are good. Um, so before I proceed, how many minutes do I have?
Okay, so it's between 1 hour to 1 hour 30 minutes. However, you can actually take your time. We have enough time. Yeah, we do.
Oh, okay. I mean, less than 1 hour for sure. We do it. So I think a little bit of information. So I don't think it will be all about just Erasmus because I mean there are a lot of opportunities. So why limit yourself to Erasmus? So I'll talk about Erasmus, Mundus scholarship. I also talk about PhD opportunities in the US. So I think those are the two things I'll talk about. So if that's okay by you.
Oh, no problem, no problem. It's fine. It's double package. It's fine by us.
Oh, okay. So I'll share my screen. So can you all see my screen and can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, all right, that's great. So I'll keep it as short as possible and as practical as possible. So one advice I'll give you guys is you should probably get your pen, just some things out, and then you can always ask your question when it's time for question and answer session. So I'll be very practical with the illustration. So if there are some things you don't understand during the question time, you can always ask, and as the case may be, right? So Chidoke already introduced me, so let's just get to it. So if you're on this webinar, just start packing your bag. I mean, I'm just joking, but for sure you have to put in the work. But yeah, if you put in the hard work and you are very intentional about your dream, I'm very sure you are going to get an opportunity. So one thing I often tell people is that success is intentional and you have to be intentional about what you want, right? So let's get started. So when you talk about scholarship in general, we have two types of scholarship. We have the internal scholarship and we have the external scholarship. So you have to understand this very well because I mean most of us don't really know how scholarship work in general, especially as regards to the area of medical imaging, radiographer, biomedical engineering, as the case may be. So we have two types of scholarship in general, so that whenever you see a scholarship you're applying to, you don't confuse them. So we have the internal scholarship and we have the external scholarship. So the internal scholarship are the scholarship that is being offered to you by the school you are applying to. So that means as the school is giving you admission, they also give you a scholarship, right? So this type of scholarship is usually common for PhD students and mostly common in the United States and in Canada. So also in the UK, anyway, as the case may be. Then we have it comes at in different package. So it could be a research assistancy position. So what this means is that you'll be admitted to join a lab, and you'll be carrying out your research in the professor's lab, and in turn, the professor pays for your school fees, that is your tuition fee, and the professor also give you stipend, that's monthly allowance that is enough for you to live in the country. So another one is called the teaching assistantship. So this one is given to you by the school. So when you come in, they assign you to one of the professors taking a particular course, then you ask at the TA. So what this means is that you can assist the teacher in giving tutorial about some of the topic in the course, open office hour for students that have like some difficulty in the course to come and meet you and discuss it with you. It could also be, let's say, marking of scripts, setting of assignments, as the case may be, and in return, you also be paid while you study. Then another one is fellowship. This one, you don't have to do anything. If you get the fellowship offer, they generally just give you the money. Sometimes the money is in line with you doing a particular kind of research, but you are not attached to, you are very flexible, as the case may be. And then we have administrative work. The department will allow you to do some work with them, like maybe it could be data science work, administrative role, any form of role. And in return, this one is very common for those that are non-STEM anyway. But those
Hello,
that are
sir.
STEM,
I think you were a bit fast.
oh, it's okay. It's being recorded. So, okay, I'll slow down. But it's being recorded, right? So basically, the take home here is that we have, I hope I'm not on times three. Yeah, basically, the take home here is that we have internal scholarship, and this internal scholarship can come in different forms. So just know what internal scholarship means. So what it simply means is that they are the type of scholarship that all you have to do is to apply to the school. When you are given admission, then you also get a scholarship. This is what I mean. Then we have the external scholarship. So for the external scholarship, you are applying for the school for admission. However, when they give you admission, you are not going to get a scholarship. So you have to apply to an external body to get a scholarship. Example of that is like the Chevening scholarship. I'm sure somebody talk about Chevening scholarship. So for Chevening scholarship, you have to apply to the school you want, and then you have to apply for the scholarship separately. So this is very easy. Internal scholarship, you apply for admission, you don't need to do anything else. External scholarship, you have apply for admission, but you still have to apply for the scholarship somewhere. This is what I mean. So these are usually very common for master. So example is the Chevening scholarship, the Commonwealth scholarship, the MasterCard, the DAD. These are all examples of scholarship. So these scholarship are most of the time are scholarship you apply to the university you want, and then you also have an application to the school that you want. For Erasmus, you don't have to apply. You just apply to the program. Then if you are accepted, later you apply to the school. But so for those applying for the Erasmus Mundus scholarship, which you are still going to talk about, you don't have to worry about applying to the university. You just apply for the scholarship, and that's how it works, right? So, but every other, you apply to the for admission, and at the same time, you have to apply to the school. So this is generally what I mean. Sorry if I'm too fast, but it is what it is, right? So now, how does scholarship work in the US? So US has a lot of opportunity. So I'm going to make this as practical as possible. This is how I usually do my application. So the first thing is when you want to apply for scholarship in the US, so most of the scholarship in US are for PhD students. So what this simply means is that if you're applying for a scholarship in the US, it's usually preferred you apply for PhD admission. So in US, when you are admitted, it comes with a scholarship. That's for PhD. So the question now will be, oh, I don't have a master's degree. I only have a bachelor. So how can I apply for PhD? So it's not like in Nigeria. In US, you don't need a master's degree to apply for a PhD position. So with your bachelor, you are good to go. When I graduated from the University of Illinois in 2001, I applied for scholarship in the US for PhD. So I got two PhD offer with my bachelor. So I'm not just saying it, I'm telling you what it is, right? So that being said, let's move on. Hope I'm not too fast again because this part is very important in that way. Am I still too fast?
Yeah, sir, you're actually a bit fast.
No, you're fine. We're okay.
Okay, I'll slow down a bit more. But I mean that's why there's a recording, right? So that being said, I'll be slower. So when you talk about applying to US, so the first thing is you have to know how to search for school. So most people usually send me a DM and they'll be like, can you tell me the schools I can apply to that have scholarship? No, that's not my job. You have to do this by yourself. So you have to learn how to do it because there are limited amount of schools you can apply to. But if you are waiting for me to start giving you school, then you are not serious, right? That's why I said success is intentional. So you have to be intentional about what you want. So I'm going to show you how you search for school. So the easiest method is via Google. Very easy. Just type the name of the school on Google. That's if you know the name of the school. Another way is using US News. So if you are very conversant to this website, they usually post ranking of schools and all the departmental ranking. So you can also use it to search for school. But the one I often use is called for icu.org. So I'm going to show you how I use it anyway. So this for icu.org, even if you don't know the name of the schools to apply to or that have scholarship, you don't have to know the name of any school in US. For icu.org, we give you everything you need. So how do you use for icu.org? So I'll take us through it. If you don't get it, it's okay. You can always watch the video later, but I'll make sure I'm very slow in this one. So let's open it. So yeah, so this is the link to for icu.org. It's generally just for icu.org. So it's not like it's the same way, right? So if you type this on your browser, you are going to have this. So these are list of all the continents we have. So you are interested in applying to US, for example. It doesn't matter the country, but we are using US as a case study, right? So you want to apply to US. The continent US is located is North America. So I click on North America. That's the first thing. Then which country in North America? We have three countries in ICU in North America, but we are interested in US. So I click on US, then it's open. So now you have, what can you see? You can see the list of all the states we have in US. And this number you see beside this state are the number of university available in that state. So what this means is that you don't have to know the name of any school, right? So let's say, for example, now I'm somebody that, oh, I like Alabama. I can just click on Alabama and I'll see all the universities available in Alabama. From there, I can have direction of what to do. So I'll use my university as a case study. My university is in Georgia. So let's assume I open Georgia. So we have 53 universities in Georgia. Now, when I open Georgia, I see the list of all the universities in Georgia. This is how you search for schools that offer your program and have funding, right? So I have list of all the all the universities in Georgia. Now I'm currently in Georgia Institute of Technology. So let's assume I want to apply to schools and I'm searching for school and I open Georgia and I see the list of schools in Georgia and I was like, oh, Georgia Tech is number one in Georgia. Okay, let me check it out if it has what I want. So I click on it. So all this might look like a long process, but once you are used to it, in 1 minute, you already search what you want to search, right? So I click on Georgia Institute of Technology. Then you see search engine. So this search engine, you can still click here to search. So anytime you click on any school that you want to search on, come to this click here and search and click on it. So later after this webinar on your own, you can always try to um do this step. And also this step, I also explain it on my YouTube channel where I make random videos about scholarship. You can always also check it as well. So if you come to this search, you can click on it and type whatever you want to type. So let's say, for example, now I'm looking for PhD program in biomedical engineering. So all I have to do is PhD biomedical engineering. Then I click on search, right? So now when you click on search, this is very important. On this website, the first things that they list for you, they are adverts. You can see sponsored. So it's not what you are searching for. So you don't have to click on advert. So you have to scroll down to the first search that you have that is not written as an ad, right? Which is this. So I click on it. So it takes me directly to the program website of biomedical engineering, right? So this is something you can also type on Google and it will also take you there. But if you don't have the school, you have to use 5CU, right? It will take you, it will show you several schools and then you can decide. Now I am here. So what are the things that you look at when you want to select school? Okay, quite all right. This school has biomedical engineering, but I know I cannot afford the education. So let's go back. We'll come back to that, right? Now let's come back. If you want to select school, what are the things that you select your school based on? There are three main things I always tell people to look at. The first one is your research interest. Do they have what you are interested in? Don't just apply to school because you want to apply. You have to see if they have what interests you. Secondly, do they have scholarship available? That's what I mean by funding availability. And thirdly, what are the documents required? Let's say, for example, a school wants you to submit a GRE and you don't have GRE, then you cannot apply to that school, right? So which means the document that are required is very important, which we are still going to check, right? So now that we have these three things in mind, let's go back to the website. Now, this is the website for the biomedical engineering page. So I want to check if they have funding. It's your job to read what they wrote here, but since I mean it's my school website, so I already know where everything is. So I'll just go to where they provide the information about funding. So I just have to keep moving down since I'm already used to the information. So here you can see stipend and graduate teachers assistantship. All students in the joint PhD program are offered graduate research assistantship. I told you the different types of scholarship we have in USA, right? With the offer of admission. So what this simply means is that if you apply to this school and you get admitted, it comes with a scholarship. And how much is the scholarship? You can see the amount here. In 2024 session, it was $3,000 per month. In 2025 session, it was $3,200 per month, and it keeps increasing every year. Yeah, it keeps increasing every year. So now we are in 20, I mean, we are in 2025 academic session, so it is this price. So if you are applying, for example, to this program, by the time you resume, it will be this price per month on the scholarship. So this is not part of your school fees. Your school fees will be covered as well alongside this amount. This is the money they give you every month for living expense. I mean, it looks very big, but trust me, don't convert it to Naira because you're not in Nigeria. Your accommodation alone will probably take 1,000 out of this or 1,000 plus. So don't say it that way. But yeah, I mean, your life will change for sure. So that being said, I already know that, okay, this school now, all I have to do is to just apply for admission. And if I'm admitted, I'll get funding. So in order not to waste our time, I'll tell you other things. So if you want to see if the research area is in the same area you are interested in, if you look at this website, under here we have research. So if I click on this research, you can see I have research areas. So these are all the research areas. And for me, I'm interested in biomedical imaging. So all I have to do is I'll click on the biomedical imaging, then I'll see everything about it. So if it's something that I want, you can see several things. If it's something that I want, I'll be like, oh yeah, this school is for me. It has a scholarship, it has everything I want. Then I can go ahead and say I want to apply. So apart from this, you can check the documents required still on the same using like all you have to do is to survey this link. Who is writing on the screen? Don't do that. So all you have to do is to technically just survey um survey everything anyway. It's your job to check the website to be sure that you have all the information you want. So if this same for I see you can use it for other school, right? Let's say, for example, I remember this is a new link anyway. You can just type Google on this, or you can use for I see you. So there's a PhD program in imaging science at WashU, that's University of Washington University at St. Louis. So this program is also fully funded, especially for those that are interested in imaging science. So it's also, so in general, let me just put it this way. When you are applying to US, as long as you're applying for PhD, most of the schools will give you scholarship. So you don't have to worry about it. All you have to do is to apply for admission. So you just have to find the school that have what you want and apply to them. And one way of doing that is using for ICU. So again, like I said, if I'm too fast, I'm sorry. you you will be fine. So that being said, let's see. Now the question is, what if I want to apply to a lot of schools? So if you want to apply to a lot of schools, there's what we call scholarship tracker. So this scholarship tracker, I'll click on it. You see, let's see. Okay, yeah. So this is an example of scholarship tracker. It's just an Excel file. So inside this scholarship tracker, you can see it has, this is a template. So all you need is this, all you need is this template, right? So with this template, you can see I already put several headings. I created this template when I was applying for PhD. So you can see there are several headings. So this is to allow me track the application to different schools that I'm applying to. Because when you use FICU just now, if you look at when I opened the website of Georgia Tech, there are a lot of information there. After I read all this information, I should be able to save it somewhere so that every time I don't have to go back to the website. And every other school that I do, I have to be able to save that information. So that's why we use scholarship tracker. So what do you do? When you open Georgia Tech just now, you just write it Georgia Tech. So now, what is the program? PhD in biomedical engineering. Of course, it's in US. The link to that website just now, you copy it and paste it here. That way, you don't have to go to FICU for you to get there anymore. Then concentration, medical imaging. The next thing is GRE required. For you, let's say you don't have GRE, this information is important for you. If GRE is not required, you are sure that yes, this is what I want. So you can put in all the information here. Then you go to another school. Generally, this might you can spend like a day of your time, maybe one of your weekends to select all the school you want and save them in scholarship tracker, and you already have all the needed information. So let me show you an example of what a scholarship tracker looks like when you have filled in all the information. This was the scholarship tracker I used to apply for my school. If you look at this, these are all the schools that I applied to. You can see Harvard University, Georgia Tech, UPenn, the one on red I did not later apply, Cornell University, Duke, John Hopkins. You can see the list of several universities and you can see all the needed detail that I want as regards to the program I'm applying to. So which means I don't need to go to the website again. Any information I want, I just come here. Everything is now easy for me. So this is how you manage multiple applications, right? So this is what we call a scholarship tracker. So the link is generally on the PowerPoint, and also I also make YouTube video on this. I also have the template, so you can always check it out. Now, if you're applying to US, let's assume I already have all these schools listed on my scholarship tracker. So what's the next thing? The next thing is to generally apply. So before you apply, it's always a good practice to send cold emails. So what cold emails simply mean is that send emails to professors in that school. Every school, when you open their website, you see list of professors working in those schools. It's not like Nigeria where you not see anybody. You see list of the professors in that school. You see the work they are doing. You see their research. So you also find their email there. So you send them an email. So cold email is a story for another time. But it's just an email to tell them that, oh, I'm interested in working with you. This is my background. This is what I have done. And your work in this area, I'm also interested in it, blah, blah, blah. Then whether you get a response or not, that shouldn't stop you from applying. What's more important in everything I've been saying is for you to apply. Applying is the most important thing. If you don't apply, you never know, right? So now, what are the documents you need when you apply for scholarship? So these are the general documents. Depending on the type of scholarship, you might have additional documents. But once you have all these documents I'm going to list now in your hand, you are ready to apply for any form of scholarship. So the first one is the international passport. If you don't have international passport right now and you want to apply for scholarship, you are not serious. That's the first thing you need to do. Go and get your international, forget scholarship, go and get your international passport first. That's the first thing, very important. Then the second thing is certificate and transcript. You don't have your certificate, you don't have your transcript, you want to apply for scholarship. What are you playing? So you need this. If you're in your final year, you cumulate all your results from 100 level till the level you are. You collect a letter from your school to say that you are in your final year, then you can use it to apply. So it doesn't matter, but you need your certificate and transcript in some way. Then your academic CV. So your academic CV is different from the normal CV. So academic CV is not like your professional CV, but they are still similar. It's just the template that is different. So if you want to see a template of an academic CV, there are several resources online for you to check. And I think I also, like I said, I make a lot of videos right in this area. So I have a video that talk about just academic CV where you can also see template of an academic CV. So you can always check that out. We can't cover everything with just one webinar. The main thing is for you to know how it is done, right? Then we have your essay. That's your statement of purpose, diversity statement. It could be any form of essay you asked to write, right? So for US, all these documents I'm listing now, they are the only ones you need. You don't need any other document. But for other scholarships, you might need additional documents. But these are always present. Then letter of recommendation. So this one is your lecturer that is going to give it to you. So which basically means that your relationship with your lecturer during your undergraduate is very important. And it doesn't have to be your lecturer, it could also be where you work. But at least among the recommendation letter, one of them at least should be from your lecturer from your undergraduate. So you have to fortify your relationship with them as well to get this letter. Then we have the standardized test. This is the one that most people often don't have, right? So Nigeria is an English speaking country. So that's the good news. So what this simply means is that most schools, let's say in the US, for example, doesn't require Nigerian to submit an English test. So which means you can apply to as many schools as you want, even without taking this test. However, if you have the means, you have the money, you should take it. It's usually very good at it, and it makes your option flexible because you are not limited by the schools that you can apply to. Then we have the GRE. For GRE, I generally advise people that if you have a very strong CGPA, you don't have to worry about writing GRE. It's a personal advice. Like again, no one way. There's no one way to be. If you have a good CGPA and you want to write GRE, fine and good. You can go ahead and write GRE, apply to school that require GRE and see where it goes. But most of the school in US, especially for STEM related courses, does not require GRE. I mean, it's GRE is departmental based. Most departments does not require GRE. But if your department always requires GRE, you have no choice than to write. But for most STEM, you don't have to write GRE. So what I always tell people is if your CGPA is really good, don't worry yourself about writing GRE. But if you know you have deficiency in your CGPA is not that high, then writing GRE will be good because GRE is like I mean, it's not a supplement for your CGPA, but at the same time, having a good GRE score, they already know that okay, you are very good on your own. So whatever might be the reason why your grade is low, it is what it is, right? So that's the advice I always give people in general. Then so end of the talk about applying to US. So I believe you have the idea of how it's done anyway. So you can always ask your question. The question and answer session is there for you to clarify your question. So then we have Europe. So there are several scholarships in Europe. So I'll focus more on the Erasmus Mundus scholarship, which I applied to and I got. So if you want to apply for the Erasmus Mundus scholarship, the first thing you do is to visit the Erasmus Mundus catalog. So this is the catalog where all the courses available for the Erasmus Mundus scholarship are located. Currently, we have over 200 courses for the Erasmus Mundus scholarship. So let's check the catalog. I want it to be as practical as possible. So like I said, the link is on the PowerPoint, and you can just type on Google Erasmus. You can just type Erasmus Mundus scholarship. Erasmus Mundus catalog on Google and follow it. But yeah, so generally it will take you to this link, right? So if you look at this link, is somebody saying something? So if you look at this link, you discover that just scroll down, you can see Erasmus Mundus catalog 209. So we currently have 209 scholarships, courses available. These courses are going to give scholarship to thousands of people, right? One course will give scholarship to up to 20 people. So now multiply 20 by 209. That's over 4,000, right? So there are 4,000 slots available. And this slot, the good thing is that it is totally dependent on your field of study. So it's not like Chevening or Commonwealth where everybody are competing for the scholarship together. The only person you are competing with is the person applying to the same program as you. So some program doesn't have a lot of people to apply, so it generally make it easier to get in. While some program have a lot of people applying to them, so it all depends. Let's say, for example, your interest is in imaging, so you can just type imaging here, or you can scroll this one after the other and scroll through all the 209 programs, or you can use this filter. I always tell people to use the filter. If you are using the filter, what I always advise people to do is just come to field of study, click on the field of your study. If it's engineering, whatever area it is, click on it and then click on search. That way, it will give you courses related to engineering or your area. Then you can see what are the courses available. But sometimes it's always better to go through all one after the other to be sure you don't miss anything out. So let's say, for example, I'm looking for courses relating to imaging. I just have to click, type imaging. I'll select the year of the project. So generally, I'll just put 2023 and 2024. You can just search. So now you can see it's returned 5 results in imaging. So one is I can apply for masters in imaging and light in extended reality. It's a master program. It has scholarship. I can apply for intelligent photonics for whatever it is. I can apply for joint master program in imaging. I can apply for image processing and computer vision, Europhotonics. And if I change the year, there are several other courses available depending on your field of study, right? So now, the first thing you do when you apply for Erasmus is choose several courses you're interested in. The good thing is you can apply to more than one course, right? So let's say, for example, I'm interested in these first 2 courses. So all I have to do is I'll go to the website of each of these courses. They have this catalog is to bring all the courses together. If you want to apply, you have to go to the website of the program itself. They are all independent. So which means you can apply to as many programs as you want. Let's say, for example, I want to apply for this Masters in Imaging and Light in Extended Reality. All I have to do is to click on it. So if I click on it, it will take me to a new website. This website is the website designed to apply for this program. So all you have to do is follow the information here and then you can apply. Then also, let's say I'm not interested in this first one, I'm interested in this second one. All I have to do is, like I said, click on it. You see, it took me to a new website, as you can see. So this new website now, I can also see the information available. So all the courses I'm interested in applying to, all I have to do is to click on it and go to their website. So once I reach their website, I can always look for the information that I need. Remember, the way the Erasmus Mundus scholarship is structured is that you'll be doing several semesters in different countries and different universities. So it's a very nice experience. Like for me, when I started my Erasmus back in 2022, my first semester was in France, my second semester was in Italy, my third semester was in Spain, and my master thesis was at Duke University in US. So Erasmus is very flexible and it allows you to explore a lot. So it's a very wonderful opportunity. And I rejected PhD offer in US in 2022 to go for the Erasmus. So because I really wanted the experience. So it's a very wonderful experience. So that being said, that's generally how you select courses when you apply for the Erasmus Mundus scholarship. Now, when you select these courses, there's what we call the Europass CV. So this CV is the CV that you generally use when you apply for the Erasmus Mundus scholarship. You can use any form of CV that you like, but they always tell you that we recommend you use Europass CV. So most of the people you see that want the Erasmus Mundus scholarship make use of Europass CV. So all you have to do is you go online. I'll show you. It's very easy. You can just type Europass and then it will take you to, okay, let me just type Europass as in on Google, right? So you can see, create your Europass CV. Then you generally click on it, and then you can follow it to create your Europass CV. So create a profile, the Europass CV. Like if you click on create your profile on Europass CV, you can see here you can either start by creating your profile, or you upload a CV you already have, or you create new CV. So I always tell people that you just go ahead and create new CV, then you start filling in your information in a bit. Or you can take somebody else that already have a Europass CV, convert it to Word, and edit the information. This is what a lot of people do. And this is what I always tell my mentees. I give them my CV and I tell them, edit it, don't stress yourself. The reason is that when you use Europass CV, it is like, it is not so easy for you to format it. Why? Because you have to, the spacings are very important and all. So people usually find it difficult to format their CV. But since I already formatted mine well, and I know how I spend a lot of time formatting it, so what I just do is I just give it out, and I was like, okay, convert it to Word, or as the case may be, and then just fill in the information. That's if you can't go through the stress of Europass. But that's that about that. Then that being said, that's how you come up with your Europass. Then we also have what is called certificate of residence. So this certificate of residence is a document that, if you see when I mentioned list of documents available just now, I did not mention it, right, because it is only associated for Erasmus. So when you apply for Erasmus, most of the programs require you to submit what we call certificate of residence. So, and this certificate of residence is just like a letter to show that you are currently living in a particular place within the last 1 year. So, I mean, if you want more question about that during the question and answer session, I can always answer it, right? So that's that about that. So one advice I'll give to you if you're applying for the Erasmus Mundus scholarship is that, just simply because they use they ask you that you can apply to any program, that doesn't mean you should apply to as many as you want. Apply to the programs that you know you have the best chance. That is the program that you know that this program meets your background. Is somebody with your background that is supposed to apply. There's no way you apply to 10 different programs and you be sure that they all meet your background. I mean, it's possible, but then make sure put priorities in programs that are perfectly aligned with your background. So most of the time, I usually advise people to apply to three Erasmus Mundus programs, and then make sure it's something that is really in line with their application, and then move on. But then if you study like a course that is very robust in area that there are a lot of scholarships in that area, maybe computer science or biology related courses as the case may be, then maybe you can apply to even five as the case may be. But whatever you do, just make sure it is in line with your interest. I mean, if you have more questions, I can always answer it. But generally, this is how you go about the Erasmus Mundus scholarship. And then we have the Master's Card scholarship. I mean, that's a story for another thing. It's part of the what we call external scholarship, right? Where you apply to the scholarship, and then you also have to apply for admission to university, as the case may be. So I know this is a lot of information, but one thing I always tell people is, he who fails to plan has planned to fail. Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. This quote is from Winston Churchill, and always know that applying for scholarship, you don't need any form of connection. All you need is your personal hard work. You just have to learn how the process works. And it all started from here. I remember my first webinar, I was in my final year. I didn't know much about scholarship. I went into the webinar because the scholar talked about scholarship. I was like, oh, okay, interesting. I started doing research. I attend webinar, join groups. Before you know, I started knowing a lot about scholarship gradually. Then I realized that, oh, this is how it works, oh, this is how it works. So it's not something difficult. You just need to be dedicated. Applying for scholarship is DIY. Do it yourself. You don't need to pay anybody. You have to do it yourself because you are the one that know yourself. And it's like a full-time job, right? So if you are working and managing scholarship together, and most of the time you probably will not even you probably sleep late, or maybe your weekend will be occupied on the scholarship and stuff because it takes time. I'm not scaring anybody, but at the end the benefits outweigh outweigh whatever time you invested in it. So that's very important. So I think it will be good if you can ask your question. So I'll stop here so that you can all ask your question.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. That was a very wonderful presentation, Mr. Suleiman. We did not expect that you would actually add more to it. So if you have, okay, I can see I can see Chukwebuka raising his hand.
Yeah, it's Chukuk actually. Good evening.
Sorry, Chukwuka, sorry, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate your time and everything. So my question is, from the website you showed us how to navigate a US school, is it possible one can actually know the available number of candidates that a particular department might likely take, so that will, by then now you know how to, where you can compete, like if, for instance, now in a department website you can know whether if this department want to take 10 PhD students or 20, or how, is there any information of such in the site? Is there any way to navigate that?
Okay. So is that all?
Okay, second question is about, because most of the schools I've tried applying to, most of them request that my school send my transcript directly to them. And summertime I wrote a mail, maybe if I can submit the one I have with me, probably if I have the offer, I can then process it to be sent from my school. But most of them insist that my school has to send my transcript direct to them for my application to be evaluated. So is there a way around that too?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So for your first question about the number of people they will take, so most of the time you won't know. But however, you can always email them to ask that question. But trust me, the question is not so especially for US, it's not like really relevant because it's not just the number of people they are taking alone or the number of people applying, it's the number of competitiveness. Like, for example, I remember back then I applied for an Erasmus program. It has only 200 applicants and I was rejected. And the scholarship that I got had over 800 applicants and I was selected. So sometimes the number of applicants and also the number of people they are selecting might not really matter. What matters is purely based on how competitive that pool is. So what I usually tell people is when you apply for scholarship, don't, as far as you know you're eligible for the scholarship and your application will be considered, don't worry much about the number of people that will be selected. Instead, worry more about yourself, putting in your best application. So I always tell people that apply for scholarship and see if you are going to get it. But at the same time, after you apply, forget about it as if you will not get it and focus on other scholarships. So once you have this mindset, you discover that you apply to as many scholarships as possible while you keep your hope optimistic and see where it goes, right? So most of the time, I don't think you should worry about that. But most of the time you won't get that information. But this website now, for example, one thing you can get is knowing the total number of students currently there. Let's say, for example, this program now has 73 PhD students at the moment. And averagely in US, PhD takes 4 to 5 years. So maybe you can divide this number by 5, and then you realize that, maybe every year they take maybe around 10 to 15 people in the department. But the question is, you won't also know the number of people applying, right? So, and how big the department is. But this is just a question. Some department, like for me, in my department right now, they take a lot of students simply because it's a joint program between two universities and each university has their professor. So they take a lot of students. So at the end, a lot of students are admitted, but at the same time, a whole lot of students are also applying depending on the quality of the school. So I don't think you should worry yourself about the number of applications, to be honest. But you can always send them an email to ask them about that. And yeah, so that being said, also you asked about academic transcript. So generally, In US, most of the schools in US allow you to submit what we call unofficial transcript, right? So the unofficial transcript is your student copy, the one with you, the transcript with you. However, any school that have a rule that you can only use official, you can only submit official transcript. When I say official transcript, I mean your school have to send it before they can do your admission. So such school, you cannot do anything. Like you cannot find a way around it. However, check the information very well and be sure because most schools we allow you to use official transcript during application. Then if you're admitted, that's when you now have to send the official one. Everybody always have to send the official one, but most of the time it is when you're admitted. So you have to check that rule that you have to check the information of the school very well. But if a school say you must send the official before admission, most of the time you don't have a way around it. But the most important thing in all this is that whenever you have like a doubt in your application or document, always send them an email. They'll gladly respond to you and explain to you what you want. I don't know if you get that, but yeah,
All right. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
yeah, sure.
Okay, we have other hands being raised.
I think you can also check the chat because I'm sure some people will prefer to ask questions on
Yes,
the
I'm
chat.
seeing questions. So I don't know. We just take these three fast. Please summarize your questions as fast as you can. So Chukunonso, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Chukunonso. Chukunonso.
I mean, we can move to the next person, right?
Yes, we can.
I think you should start from the top because it is arranged based on the order they raise their hand.
Okay. So the first question here, the person is actually asking for your YouTube channel.
Oh, just my name. I'll check the link and check. But yeah, you can always just type my name and I think I'll share. Don't worry. So just move on.
The options for people to still start postgraduate year despite not being able to render application prior to the general December deadlines.
Oh, okay. So if you are talking about US, so I mean US they show called priority deadline, right? So the general December deadline, it's just for most of the school. So most school have a priority deadline of December 1st. So some school is December 15th, while some other school is January 1st, and some is January 15th. So you can still check those schools which deadline is still on. So because I mean, once the deadline of a school pass, is two things. Either you cannot apply again, which means you have no choice, or they make it a rolling base. So which means you can still apply, but they review it as the application comes. But priority are already given to people who already applied during the priority deadline that they already gave admission. So that's why it is important to apply during the priority deadline. So if the December 1st have passed, look for December 15 and January 1st or January 15 deadline and see apply either way.
Okay. So the second question was coming from Miss Charity. She was asking for the Erasmus web link, the one you just shared during your presentation.
Yeah, I mean, I'll share it on the chat, but all you have to do is to just type Erasmus Mundus catalog, right?
I don't know whether you talked about application fees, but someone is asking how does one go about all the application fees?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I mean, application fee is also like an incredible obstacle when you apply for PhD in US. So one thing I normally tell people is you have to be active in this journey. Back then in 2021, when I was applying, when I just graduated, I I was in a lot of groups. I usually get notification about different school having an event to explain graduate information. And most of the time, this school once you attend the meeting, afterwards they give you what we call an application fee waiver. So I was able to get application fee waiver for most of my application using that. Then while some others, I have to send an email to the school and request for that, oh, okay, as a result of financial hardship, I'm unable to pay. There's no shame in it, right? So I'm unable to pay for the application fee. Can you waive it for me? Those that want to waive it will waive it for me and I apply. Those that don't want to waive it, they don't waive it and then I move on from applying to them. So that's that about that. But then in last year when I was applying again, I mean, since I was already an Erasmus scholar, so I didn't worry much about the application fee waiver. So if you waive it for me, fine. If you don't waive it for me, I go ahead and pay anyway. So yeah, that's how you get application fee waiver. Attend some of their program and at the same time, um, send them an email to request for application fee waiver. So I dropped the link to my channel. I made a video about requesting for application fee waiver and a template to use, so you can always check it out as well.
Okay, another question here. So the person is asking, what will happen if you get more than 2 scholarships? Will rejecting others and choosing one affect anything?
It doesn't. I mean, in 2021, when I applied back then, I got three fully funded scholarships. I got one Erasmus scholarship and 2 PhD scholarships in US. So I rejected the 2 PhD scholarship and came to US. So it doesn't affect. And last year when I applied again, I got 3 PhD offers, two in US, and I rejected one. And I came for this one. So it doesn't matter. You can reject. Even they themselves, if they don't find you worthy, they will reject you too now. So you too, you can also do shakara for them and also reject it. It's about what you want the most. So the only thing is that deciding the offer to accept is usually not as easy as we think. But but yeah, you can reject it. No, there's no harm in rejecting. You are not bound to accepting anything.
So another question here, I'll try to be as fast as possible. The questions keep coming in. Does duration of work experience matter before you think of applying? Then let me ask another one so you take both of them at once.
Yeah.
So how can we have access to your Europa CV prototype? Okay, I think the person is talking about the CV prototype you talked about. So
Oh, okay. I mean, I also, again, most of the resources are on my channel actually. Like the prototype is also there, so you can download it from there. And both the CV for US and the CV for Europa, they are all there. So you can download it, convert it to Word, and try to edit it for yourself.
the question about the work experience.
Yeah, okay. So also for the work experience, I mean, it generally depends on the type of program you're applying for and how you package your application. Like I told you guys, in 2021, I applied for scholarship and I got it. And like I said, I just graduated. So what should come to your mind is that, but you don't have any work experience, right? So, so the way you present your information is what matters. Work experience is very important for sure. So, but like I said, the way you present it is what matters. Like for me, I did internship during my undergraduate, right? I did 3 month internship and 6 month internship. Those was what I use as work experience. But then I have some research experience from my undergraduate study. Some people be like, I don't have research experience, I just finished. No, you did a project. Everybody did a project. So that project is a research experience. I also have that. So the way you organization is what matters. And this organization generally takes time. That's why you have to spend your time, format your document very well, prepare it very well, and submit your best of application. So if you don't have work experience, you don't have to worry much, but don't make, if you are somebody that already graduated, the only thing I know is if you already graduated and you have like a long gap in your CV, that's usually very tricky. Let's say, for example, you are jobless for like 1 year and then you want to apply for scholarship. It's very tricky because these people like someone who is very resourceful. So what we come, like the way they think is different from Nigeria. What will come to their head is that, what did you do with your life for 1 year? So if you have like if you don't have employment for 1 year, for example, you have to have something to make up for it that you are doing. So that's very important. So that's what they want to see.
Okay, there's another question which I think is very important too. So, because we've all had people talk about English proficiency exam. So this person is asking, please, do we need to write an English proficiency exam for the Erasmus Mundus?
No, I mean, I didn't. Okay, so it's this way, right? Everything is based on the program you're applying to. Like just now, I showed you that we have over 209 programs. So Erasmus Mundus scholarship is not like a scholarship where all the documents you need is the same for everyone. Each of those programs, they are independent. And when you go to their website, it is when they will tell you the document that they need. So few of the programs, especially those in the area of biology, usually require you to take an English test like TOEFL or IELTS, while most of several others require you to submit an English proficiency letter from your school stating that, oh, okay, the medium of instruction was in English. So was the letter I used. So you have to check the program exactly to know the requirements. Like I said, if you don't have an English test, look for the Erasmus program that does not require an English test and apply. So this is how it works.
Okay, there's another question, sir, please. So
No, it's
this
okay.
person is
Take your time.
asking, yeah, so this person is asking, I think there are two questions that are related. Um, Emphasis on CGPA. So another person is asking, what's the fate of second class lower graduate for grad school scholarship?
I mean, that's a tricky one. Okay, so for CGPA, trust me, as far as scholarship is concerned, CGPA is 100% important. But at the same time, it's not all you need. So it's a holistic review. I always give this example. When I was applying for my first scholarship back then, my friend, the Erasmus program he applied to, my friend graduated with 4.76. So the Erasmus program he applied to, he was rejected, and someone, a Nigerian, got the offer with a 2-1. So that's for you to know that your CGPA might be important, but it's not just about CGPA. So in scholarship, we call it holistic review. They are going to check all your package. If you don't have a first class, you cannot change that because you already graduated, for example. You cannot change your result to first class. So that is in when you apply for scholarship, there are things about you that you cannot change, and there are things about you that you can change. The ones you can change it to the best you can. That is, do something spectacular. Then the ones that you cannot change, don't wallow on it. Leave it the way it is and see how it goes. So for the Erasmus Mundus scholarship, in the past, there are people that graduated with 2-2. There are people that graduated from Polytechnic that got the scholarship in the past. So it's just that the guy that graduated with 2-2 that got it back then, he had over 5 years of work experience. But like I said, it could be anything. The main thing is that you don't have the CGPA fine. What they want to see is how resourceful are you among other applicants. So our CGPA counts in this case as well. So this is the thing in general. So your CGPA is very important, but having no CGPA doesn't also mean you cannot get it. But you have to work. And one thing I noticed with Nigerians is that, sorry to say, I have a lot of mentees, so that's why I can say this. Most of the time, even people with first class, they are still the ones that tend to even be more serious in building their profile. I think people that are being made first class usually just feel like, oh, since I'm not on first class, getting scholarship is hard. But they fail to build themselves because I've reviewed a lot of essays, a lot of CVs, and most of the time, the best of CVs that I review, CGPA apart, are still people that graduated with first class. So which means it all still go back to you making yourself as exceptional as possible. That's just it.
Okay, so the person asking about CGPA is also asking whether GRE plays a vital role to remedy when applying
No,
for Erasmus.
I mean, it's. I think it is only once I've seen an Erasmus program that asks you to provide GRE, and even that program made it optional. So for GRE, you don't even need it in Erasmus. It's only you only consider writing GRE if you want to do if you want to apply to US, for example. But like I said, it's not a must. So if you want to improve your CGPA, one thing you should do is like do like West evaluation. So West evaluation generally tends to improve your CGPA. So yeah.
Okay. I'm seeing two other questions that looks a bit like in contrast with what we've been discussing. So
I
this person
think you
is
can
asking.
also go to some people raising their hands after a while, switching it to.
Okay. Let's just take this. So he's asking. I'm a radiographer and holds masters in radiography. Currently, I have a PhD admission in Asia, and I'm working in East Africa. Please, I need the link to funding agencies for my PhD. Please advise.
I mean, I don't think I'm the right person to do this because, I mean, most of the time I usually don't look at funding agency. What I look at is applying for scholarship itself. That is a PhD that comes with a scholarship. So if you already have a scholarship and you are looking for like external bodies to fund you, I mean, I really don't know to be honest. But I mean, if there's anybody here that knows how you some potential things you could look at, maybe the person can raise up their hand. But one thing I can tell you for sure is that check for internal funding within your school, like the school you got the PhD offer. Check and see the available opportunity there because it's very hard for you to just randomly see anybody that say, "Oh, I want to sponsor your PhD education." So you should check for available opportunity in that school and see. But to be honest, I don't know.
Okay. So let's take from people raising their hands. So Mr. Kensile Chukwebuka, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Hello,
All
Mr.
right.
Kensile.
Yeah. Good evening,
Hello.
everyone. Um, Thank you, Mr. Suleiman, for the presentation. Um, I actually want to ask concerning the application for the PhD application in the US. As a graduate, as a BSc graduate without a master's, and then knowing the rigorous works and then research that is being demanded in PhD programs. How do one actually go about managing this if one should apply for a PhD program without passing through maybe a master's to build the person's to build your research your inclination on research? Thank you.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. I mean, I think like everything is all about plan because like planning is the most important thing. Like I said, there are a lot of people in US that didn't have a master. For me, I have a master, but there before even going for my master's, I got PhD offer that I rejected back then. And I have a lot of friends that we graduated together that they are doing their PhD in the US as well with just bachelor, right? So one thing I always tell people is that if you know how scholarship works, it kind of open your eye to a lot of things, especially how you put your information. One, one for example is, like I said, I've seen a lot of people that they'll just come to me and they'll be like, "Oh, doing a PhD research experience is very important, but I don't have any research experience. What can I do?" And I will be like, "No way. There is no way you graduate without a research experience in Nigeria, right? Because you did a final year thesis. That alone is a research experience. Now, what you choose to do with that information is what makes the difference. That's one thing. And some people will be like, "Oh, I don't have work experience," and I'll be like, I mean, most of the program, especially STEM related, you do internship. What did you do with the internship? Like cases like that. So what I'm saying in general is that if you don't have something, find a way to create it. The only thing you cannot change is your CGPA. That's what I keep saying. Every other thing that you can change it. Like for me, I remember back then, what is the first thing I do? The only research experience I have was from my bachelor. So I needed something. The first thing I do is I started looking for people I can collaborate with. Then I came across a group called Pan African Research Group, I remember. So, and then I joined their bioscience team and also their AI and data science team. So their bioscience team, they have a bunch of group for people that are interested in doing research in bioscience. I joined it. Then we form a team of 8, so everybody form a subgroup based on their research interest. So at the end, I was working with that group. Then I also joined the data science and AI group. They also form a subgroup. So I was in the two group and we are doing separate research together. And I mean, when I was applying, I could easily talk about that as a research experience. And even though at then I haven't published any paper with them, but in 2023, when I was applying for PhD again, I already published 2 papers with them, one with the bioscience group and one with the data science group. And this was the work I was doing before I went for my Erasmus. Then along the line of my Erasmus, we shall publish it. So when I was starting applying for PhD, I could easily put it as my publication. So this is how you create avenue for yourself. I don't know if you get it. So a lot of things you have to create it yourself. You have to think about, you have to sit down. So what I normally tell people is take a CV of somebody that won a scholarship, go through it, come up with your own, then ask yourself, what is missing in my CV? Whatever you discover is missing, it's an area you are lacking. Then now ask yourself, what can I do to change it? Like I said again, the only thing you cannot change is your CGPA. Every other thing, you can do what you have to do. So I don't know if you get that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think this is the last question for today because I believe the question that Charity was asking has been answered directly. So Mr. Chupunonso Chufukelo, can you unmute yourself and ask your question? Mr. Chupunonso. I think he's not online or he's not available. So without any further
Hello, can you hear
question.
me?
Okay,
Hello?
I think he's back on. Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, sorry about that. I want to appreciate Mr. Taufik for such a wonderful presentation. So my question is regards to when we're talking about a scholarship tracker. So I want to know if that scholarship tracker can be gotten online, maybe through Play Store or what. Then he also made mention of a GRE. I actually want to know the meaning of that GRE because I saw from his own tracker, he was writing yes and no. So I don't really know what it means.
Oh, okay. I mean, your GRE is like graduate record examination, right? So it's just like a typical analogy I usually say is it's like JAM in Nigeria. You know, before you get admitted to university in Nigeria, apart from your WAEC, you need to write JAM, right? So, and in this
Yes.
JAM, you take in courses like English, mathematics, depending on what you're applying to. So, GRE is an exam you also take in US for you to be able to apply to school. So, some years back, like maybe 10 years, 15 years ago, this GRE is very important. Any school you're applying to in US, you have to submit it. But as time goes on, they start realizing that it's a huge barrier for a lot of talented people. Some people might not, there are several reasons why some people might not be able to take the exam and all. And they are not as, these people are very flexible. They are not as rigid as in Nigeria that once a policy is made, it's difficult to change it. So most schools start reviewing their admission policy. Then currently, most of the schools now they don't require you to take the GRE. Why some will make it optional. If you have it, submit it. If you don't have it, good. It will not affect your application. Why some does not require it at all. So that's generally what is GRE. So the way GRE works is why I was relating GRE in the scholarship tracker. If you see yes or no, what I simply mean is that does the school require GRE? Let's say, for example, you are somebody that don't have GRE. You want to look for a school that does not require you to write the exam. So that's why in the scholarship tracker discussion was there. It's a standardized exam, just like the English test.
Okay. So the tracker, scholarship tracker, how can we get it?
Yeah, the scholarship tracker is just an Excel form. So you can create yours by yourself. But if you need the template, this this PowerPoint has the link to the online version where you can download it, or you can also check my
Okay.
channel. I make a video about scholarship tracker, and the template is also there. You can also download it. So generally, most of this information are available on my website, on my channel, basically. So yeah,
Okay. Thank you very much.
you're welcome. Oh, okay. So this charity that asks about whether you can use NEPA certificate. So I actually answered it on the chat. But so basically, I'll just answer it now. You cannot use the NEPA certificate. So you want to use a certificate of residence. So how it looks like is you want a letter that is written that clearly state that this person named this is currently living in this place and have been living here and blah blah blah. This is what they want to see. So this type of letter you can get it from your workplace, you can get it from your local government, as the case may be. Most of the time, I usually advise people to get it from their I usually advise people to get it from their local government. If you want to see a template of how certificate of residence look like, yeah, I think I have a video that also talk about it. I think just survey my channel. I have several videos about all this thing. You can see a template of what a certificate of residence looks like.
Hmm. So I think there's no further questions. I'm not seeing any. Is there?
Okay.
Share a link on your channel so that we can easily get to it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, he will. Once he sends it over, we will send it. So in the absence of any other question, I think I'm inviting Mr. Favor Umaron, one of the planners of this webinar, to
Sorry, please. I was unable to join the WhatsApp group when I was doing the registration. I beg, is there any way I can be added to that WhatsApp group? It's very important.
Reach out to me. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'll add you. Reach out to me, Chijo Kibe. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'll add you.
Chijoke.
eBay, yes.
Okay, all right.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Am
Who
I
is
audible? I'll be Charity.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. You're audible. You have question?
Okay, yes. No, not a question. It's actually a contribution for the first person that asked about the number of students that are admitted into a particular program. I just wanted to add that some course program directors, they usually mention that in the course introduction. If you go to the program website and just scout for it, you will see that, for instance, when I was applying to public health for global practice under Chevney, there was a mention of that by the course director. They said they actually accept a small cohort of 30 to 40 students. So that's just to say that such information can be mentioned by the course director during that introductory phase.
Okay, thank you very much for that
Also,
observation.
in addition to that, also, even if you're applying for the Erasmus scholarship, most of the program, you also see the information about the number of people they will select. But I think the person was also very specific about applying in US. So most of the time in US, they generally don't provide it, except you want to ask them. But yeah, for a lot of programs like Erasmus, most of the program also provide it. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay. So in the absence of any other question, please, we are calling on Mr. Favor Umeron, one of the organizers of this webinar, to just come and give us a brief vote of thanks for the audience and also on behalf of the speaker.
Okay. I hope I'm audible enough. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening. You're audible.
All right. Okay. So first and foremost, I want to thank Mr. Taufik Ahmed for taking out his time out of his busy schedules to be with us and share his personal experiences and giving us insights on how to be strategic and shoot our shots for the Erasmus Mundus and scholarship programs. So Mr. Taufik, we really appreciate your having you amongst us today. And on behalf of the ARSPN team and the organizers behind this initiative, want to say a special thank you to you and to each and every one of us too that has made our time to be on this webinar session tonight. We want to also give a special shout out to you all for coming around and spending time with us tonight. And we also want to also give like a quick reminder for the last session we'll be having by Friday, for this very phase of the Imaging Frontiers 1.0. I think that will be another groundbreaking and insightful session, and we also implore and encourage us to be there. So thank you once again, Mr. Taufik. I can't mention every one of us here on the call. I can see Kingsley, I can see Chukun also, and the rest of them. So a special shout out to you all, and Chijioke and Sandra, my colleagues and teammates. I also give a special shout out to you all as well. And thank you very much once again. Yeah, and a good night. Okay, someone is still asking a question, Chijioke. So I don't know, Mr. Taufik, are you still there on the call?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All
Okay,
right.
Asking if you are open to reviewing SOPs.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, that's a very broad question. Trust me, I can't review 50% of the request of SOP that I do get. I mean, I do review SOP. In fact, I do review a lot of SOP. But like I said, I can't review on everybody's SOP. So that question is kind of subjective. So you have to do is to like shoot your shot, send me message on LinkedIn. I can't guarantee that I'll reply, to be honest, because I mean I'm doing a lot of research, so sometimes I generally miss a lot of message and I can't reply a lot of message. And also, if you are sending me a message on LinkedIn, just go straight to the point. Most of the time, if what you send is just hi or how are you, nice connecting with you, all those messages I'll probably not open it because I'll just feel like it's like an AI generated. LinkedIn just suggests it and you click on it. So I always prefer you just go straight to the point. Even when eBay reached out to me, he went straight to the point. If he probably just sent me hi, there's high tendency that I might not see. So somehow go straight to the point, and if it's something I can do, I'll do it. If I cannot do it, so. But one thing is, if I open your message, I'll surely reply. So if I don't reply you can always see message me back. Then I can always say that okay, I'm free to review. I don't want to review or whatever it is. But yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. I think at this junction we call this meeting a close, and we are also anticipating that you people join us too on Friday. Thank you very much, Mr. Taufik. Thank you very much. We had a wonderful time. Thank you.
Thank you, Taufik. God bless you.